What's going on, everyone? Going to be taking a look at another flashlight today, or headlamp, so you might call it, or what Fenix calls this is a multi-use headlamp slash flashlight slash EDC light, whatever you want to call it. But basically I'm going to call this, I guess, a headlamp. This is the Fenix HL10 that you're looking at in my hand here, and this is, I believe, Fenix's newest headlamp that they came out with, and I saw it on Amazon and also on Candle Power forums and a few other places, and I wanted to get a chance to take a look at it, see if I like it, because this is pretty affordable, and I'll get to price later on in the review, but it is an affordable headlamp for what you get. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a single AAA battery headlamp. Runs on your standard alkaline AAA batteries or rechargeable nickel metal hydrate batteries. They do not recommend, actually they ban, lithium rechargeable batteries. They do not recommend lithium primaries such as the Energizer lithiums that you can buy in the store. However, I have used them and they work fine. The light operates fine, and I don't think there's an increased voltage high enough to damage the light. But that's not coming from Fenix, that's just my personal use and experience. It's only about 0.1 volts higher than your standard alkaline battery. But in any case, you do have those options. Now, if you don't want to watch the whole review, I'll just say up front that I do like the flashlight, the headlamp. I think it's really good quality for the price. I think it's a steal of a deal. It really is. And this one I got for around $30 on Amazon.com, which is a really competitive price for many other headlamps, putting out similar brightness levels. There's really not a lot of single AAA battery headlamps out there for many reasons, but I think that this is one of the best deals out there for the price, if you find them for around the same price that I did. But it does have some limitations, and I think it's specific to what you need the headlamp or flashlight for. So let's go ahead and get into the review. Now, this is a flood headlamp. It produces a 90-degree flood straight out in front. Doesn't have a reflector that throws light very far. It's really just going to illuminate what's right in front of you. In my experience, it will illuminate probably about 30 feet in complete darknesses. It may go a little bit further or a little bit shorter depending on how bright your situation is, outside or inside. It just kind of depends. In complete darkness, though, like I said, you can easily see 30 feet, even on the medium mode, and you can see right in front of you on the ground if you're wearing it as a headlamp and walking, even on the lowest mode. And of course, on the high mode, you can see even better. Now, speaking of the modes, and I guess the operation of the light, it has three modes basically. You've got your low, your medium, and your high. Your low mode is running at about 3 lumens, and that's going to get you allegedly 27 hours of runtime with your rechargeable nickel metal hydrate battery, and it's going to get you about 30 hours runtime with your alkaline battery. And of course, the runtimes are just estimates, and if you're in colder weather, it's going to be even less. Just remember that. Your mid mode's 27 lumens. You're going to get about 2 hours and 15 minutes with alkaline batteries, a little longer with your rechargeables. And your high mode 70 lumens, you're going to get about 35 minutes on high mode with alkalines, and a little bit, maybe like says 50 minutes with your rechargeables. Now, keep in mind, the high mode on this light only runs for 5 minutes continuously, and then it automatically steps down to your middle mode. That's something that's kind of, some people were complaining about, is that you can't use your high mode for continuous periods. But I will say that all you have to do when that happens, let's say the light's on, there's your low, medium, high. Let's say you're in your high mode and you want to, you have it running for 5 minutes and it automatically steps down to your middle mode. So now you're in mid mode. All you'd have to do is turn the light off, turn it back on, go back up to your high mode, then you're back on for 5 minutes. Now, for someone that's doing maybe some work outside and they don't want to have to deal with that. That can be a little bit annoying. I can understand that. And it makes sense to pick another headlamp. But as I was saying, you do have those 3 modes. The operation, there's your button up here. You hold down for one. If you just click it quickly, doesn't turn the light on. Hold down for 1 second and it comes on. The mode cycling is from low, medium, and high. To change the mode, you just tap the button and it'll just cycle through the modes. And to turn the light off, you have to hold down for 1 second and it turns the light off. Again, you can press all day, quick presses, and it won't turn the light on. So some people were saying that because of the way this light is designed, let me open it up here if I can without bumping the camera. When you take this light out, if you unscrew the tail cap, the light still works even with it unscrewed, so you can't lock it out. So if you're storing this light in some kind of kit, you have to be careful not to turn it on because you don't want to waste all your batteries. But like I said, you have to hold down for 1 second for this to turn on. If you just press it quickly, it's not going to turn on, so you don't need to worry about that. You have to hold it down for 1 second. Now, as far as, well, let's talk about the versatility of the light. This can be a headlamp, or it can also be an angled flashlight. As you can see, I pulled it out of the headlamp holder here. It does tail stand in an emergency. Let's say you needed some light, you know, your power went out or something, you can sit it on a table, light up a room. It also stands like this. On the opposite side, it does wobble a little bit, but it will stand up. Excuse me. Turn it off. Does not sit very well if you wanted to light up a room, let's say, and point it towards the ceiling like that. However, if it's sitting into the holder, it will stay like that. You can illuminate it in an entire room if you needed to, if the power was out. So it is a decent emergency light. As far as the headlamp housing, it clamps into the steel clamp right here. It's pretty sturable. The durability is good. The light just sits on it, so it's the aluminum body of the flashlight sits into those clamps there, and it holds it in place really good. If you're wearing it as a headlamp, your adjustments are it'll stay to where you adjust the headlamp as far as the angle really well. I will say that over time, I think that the paint on this flashlight will wear down in that spot because it's rubbing metal on metal. That's pretty much bound to happen. You can't do much about that. So the way that this is set up is when you put the light in, this plastic piece clamps down over the light. This plastic piece really isn't needed as far as I'm concerned. So let's say you were to drop this and this piece broke off. It wouldn't matter as far as using the headlamp because it's still clamped in with the metal there. So you're not going to have to worry about that. As far as the headlamp material, the band, it's a somewhat of a smaller band. You see in the configuration right here, it just barely fits over my head. So for someone that has a particularly larger head, might have a little bit of trouble using this band. I have, I'd say, I don't know, an average sized head. No jokes, guys, come on. But let's say that you had a larger diameter forehead, then you're probably not going to fit with this strap very well. You can make it go a little bit larger if you take this piece like this, pull it out. You see you still got some room here to make it longer. You would just press in this piece right here and go out, and you got a longer headband there, you see. So it'll accommodate many different sizes as far as using it as a headlamp, but I'd say the elastic is on the smaller side. Now, what is this headlamp good for? I think it's really good for your average headlamp user, someone that might use a headlamp only periodically, maybe to work on your vehicle, in your car. Maybe it's a good light to keep in your car in the event that you break down, you need to change a tire, you might need to fix something with your engine, or something along those lines. Also, what I like to use this for is a walking headlamp, walking at night, or if you go hiking on shorter hikes, I think it's also good for that. or if you're just doing a backpacking trip that doesn't require long-term use of a headlamp. Let's say, for instance, someone that's doing rock climbing, things of that nature at night, which some people do, believe it or not. You're not going to want something that has this little runtime. You're going to want something that has probably longer runtime so that you're not stuck changing the batteries out while you need your hands doing other things. But I say the middle mode on this, it works really well. You get a little over 2 hours runtime with a single double AAA battery, and that's pretty good for my use. Even on a backpacking trip, I don't usually go hiking at night, and when I do, it's not for more than 2 hours. So I find the runtime to be efficient for what I need it for. Now, are there better headlamps out there? Of course. You can get a zebra light, the flood version, and it's twice as bright or more. But remember, this is $30. A zebra light is more than double that. That's just not including shipping. So just keep that in mind. This is a lower powered headlamp compared to something like a zebra light. But I don't think quality is sacrificed. I think this headlamp is really good quality, and I wouldn't hesitate to buy another one of these for myself or for someone else needing a headlamp. So anyways, that's pretty much the review. I'm going to throw in some beam shots as best as I can to give you guys an idea of the brightness, but it's going to be a little different than my typical flashlight beam shots because this is not a throwing light, it's an area light. It's a floodlight, so I'm going to try my best to accurately show how bright it is. Alright, so let's take a look at some indoor beam shots, and actually I'm just going to do indoor for this light, the Fenix HL10. I'm in a hallway, the same hallway I'm usually in, looking at about 20 feet. There's a door in front of me. I'm going to turn on the HL10, which is on low mode right now, and we'll go ahead and see if you can see it on the camera. Again, as always, I have exposure locked on the camera, as well as white balance and focus, so it's not going to adjust with the light. Okay, so I have the headlamp is on its low setting. I don't think you're going to be able to see that far on the camera, but just to show you it's on, here's my hand, and you can see that my hand is illuminated in front of the camera there. If I take the light away, you can't see my hand. So it is on. That's the low mode, which I think is 3 lumens. Let's jump up to the medium mode, and there you can see down the hallway, which is 20 feet. You would be able to see even further, but as you can see, it's just a completely even floodlight, 90-degree floodlight. Then let's go ahead and bump it up to its high mode, and there it is on its high mode, which really lights up that hallway, which is 20 feet, and it will light up even further really well. See my hand, how light my hand is. And we'll go back to the low mode, medium, high. So as you can see, it's pretty bright on the modes, and it works really well as a headlamp, in my opinion. Most of the time you're not going to need that throw depending on what you're doing, and if you carry a flashlight that's brighter, which I usually do anytime I'm using a headlamp, I just don't really need that extra throw. But some people prefer a headlamp that has a lot more throw. So anyways, I hope that gives you an idea of whether you would like this headlamp or not, this flashlight. Definitely think it's worth the money, and it's a good budget-friendly headlamp or EDC type flashlight because it's so small in hand. So anyways, thanks for watching the review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it helped someone, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.